Hello, everyone. It's Miss Man, your Learning Center specialist. Today, we are starting our book, Stand Up, Yumi Chung, written by Jessica Kim. We're going to dive right into it. Chapter 1. I should have known better than to think anyone would listen to me at the Korean beauty salon. You want the perm? Asked the stylist in leather pants, running her fingers through my limp hair. Uh, I I was thinking, I sputter, showing my phone. Maybe you could give me something like this instead? After scrolling through Pinterest for hairstyle makeover all week, I've settled on this sleek pixie cut. It's definitely shorter than anything I've ever had before, but maybe that's exactly what I need before 7th grade starts next month. A change. Something bold for the new me. Mom emerges from the dressing room in a shiny black robe and plucks the phone from my hands in one swift motion. Yumi, no. She raises a generously penciled in eyebrow. Too short. You will look like a boy from BTS. Mom! I grab my phone back, ignoring three robed aunties, who aren't really my aunties, laughing in the chair next to me. This is a really popular hairstyle these days. Let me see. The stylist my stylist's leather pants squeak as she bends over for a closer look. No good. Your cheeks are too big for this cut. I examine the picture again, noticing the model's sunken cheeks for the first time. I steal a glance at myself in the mirror, subtly sucking in my face. Leather pants scrunched my hair in her hands. You need more volume. She combs my hair forward, obscuring in the sides of my face. Obscuring the sides of my face. Cover your Yodurium. My Korean isn't that fluent, but I know she's talking about my acne. She's right, Mom says. My stomach twists. Yeah, but I don't know. That's not the look I'm. Without letting me finish, Leather Pants turns to Mom. Perm? Yes, much better for her. She nods her chin to confirm and spins her chair to join the gaggle of gossiping aunties. Before I can object, they're back to swapping intel. Did you hear that Kim Okosan from Honasana Baptist is sending his son to Cornell? How about his other son, tall lawyer? Mom gives them a knowing glance. He's same age as my older daughter. Oh, brother, not this again. Meanwhile, a sharp chemical odor stings my nostrils as strands of my hair are twirled around spools attached to a giant octopus-like machine. This is this is what disappointment smells like. Another perm. So much for the new me. When my hair is completely rolled up, the perm machine and I are sent to the ventilated lounge for a half hour of to marinate. Good thing I brought my new super secret comedy notebook. I take it out of my bag and jot down something that I've been thinking about. It's really frustrating that my parents compare me to their friends. It's always, why can't you play piano like Grace? Or why can't you speak Korean better than like June? The other day they were telling me, did you know that Minji got into Harvard? I said, Mom, give me a break. I'm only 11 years old. Then she tells me, Minji is 9. Ugh. Mom approaches, her head covered in enough aluminum foil to transmit radio waves to Mars. I immediately shove my notebook into my bag before she can scold me for wasting my time with that comedy nonsense. She scoots the magazines off the chair next to me and sits. Yumi, I have to tell you something very important. I freeze. About what? She picks up her steaming cup of barley tea with both hands. You know, she says carefully, business is not so good at restaurant right now. Uh-huh. This is not news. It's pretty much all my parents talk about these days. Ever since the new luxury high-rise condos went up all over Koreatown, foot traffic in our family's Korean barbecue restaurant has all but stopped. Dad blames the new people for hogging all the parking lots, driving up the rent, not supporting small businesses, and probably even causing global warming. She blows softly into the Selden cup, her, her fingers wrapped around it. Yesterday, I went to your school to talk to Mr. Beasley. I stiffen at the mention of Winston Preparatory Academy, most crotchety administrator. Why? She draws close and whispers, to tell him we cannot afford to pay tuition next year. Wait, I don't have to go to Winston anymore? A tightness I didn't even know I was holding my shoulders magically lifts, and a giant grin spreads across my face. I considered the implications. No more starchy uniforms, no more Latin class, no more snotty cliques, and no more disappointed teachers. Freedom! I get a sudden urge to bust out of my robot dance moves all over the salon. Not that I'd actually ever do that. Not while anyone was watching, anyway. Instead, I let out a satisfied sigh. Going to a new school won't be easy, but at least it'll be a fresh start, a do-over of sorts. Maybe this time my yearbook will be signed by someone other than my teachers. But then Mom shakes her head. The tinfoil's flaps are rattling. No, you still go to Winston. Instantly elaborating visions of my new me skittered away into thin air. I tug at a roller in my head that was wound too tightly. But you just said we can't afford. She shushes me violently, and then she shushes me violently, like I let it slip that she sometimes cooks with MSG. No, listen, Mr. Beasley says if you score at least 98% on exam, you can get the academic scholarship. Attend Winston for free, she says, emphasizing the words for free. Huh? What exam? She scoots her chair closer to mine and pulls up an email on her phone. Test called SSAT, Secondary School Admission Test. You take the test on August 16th. What? My neck swings so fast I nearly unplug the giant perm machine. Mom, that's like in 2 weeks. I can't. There's no way I can. Has the hair dye fried her brains? Does she actually expect me to ace a test I've never even heard of? Like it's no big deal? She clucks her tongue in disbelief. You can attend best private school in Los Angeles for free. She blinks long and hard. Mommy and Daddy work so hard for you. You have opportunities like this. You must do it. This is mom's go-to move for guilting me into doing something I don't want to do. Whenever she senses even an ounce of resistance, she bursts out with, "We came here from Seoul to work 7 days a week, sacrifice everything. Why? For you. So you can insert undesirable thing here. Play piano, go to Korean school, learn Taekwondo. It's like baking soda, useful in so many different scenarios. I'm dying to know what non-minimal, non-immigrant, blah, 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 non-immigrant parents say to coerce their kids. Just then, Leather Pants pops in to check on us. She pokes around my scalp with the pointy end of a comb and readjusts the dials on the machine. Everything okay? Yes, I tell her, despite my nerves shooting through the roof. She leads us to the main room of the salon. Mom straightens her robe. Yumi, if you study very hard and graduate with good grades from Winston, you can go to top university, like your sister, she says, this time loud enough for the aunties to hear. Ugh. Leave it to Mom to steer this back to my sister and her 1,000,001 academic achievements, as if they had anything to do with me. Hello, Yuri is literally a genius, an actual card-carrying member of Mensa with an IQ of 155, and I'm just me. But that doesn't stop my parents from holding me to her impossible standard to inspire me. It's the most unthing fair ever. But I can't, I'm not, my scalp is burning. I can't tell if it's the chemicals or Mom getting under my skin. Her posture softens and she pats me on my knee. Do not worry. I signed you up for Hagwon to help you prepare for test. I recoil. Ugh, not Hagwon. The last place I want to be on my summer break is in the classroom. My head feels like when the computer mouse arrow turns into the spinning rainbow wheel. But, I don't want to. Studying at Hagwon is better than wasting time watching YouTube Jokester all day. Jokester? My breath catches in my throat. Mom, Jasmine Jasper is not a jokester. She's the only creator of the most hilarious kids comedy tutorials on YouTube, not to mention my personal hero. Too much screen time. Rat's brain, you need to study. She pulls down the hairdryer dome over her head. The dryer roars to life when she flips the switch, drowning me out completely. Thanks, Mom, for flushing what's left of my summer vacation down the toilet. Swirling, swirling, swirling. Flush! The perm machine emits a series of ear-splitting beeps and leather pants scuttles back to take out my rollers. When she's done, she sprays some fruity-smelling product on my hair and gives it another scrunch, scrunch. You like? She twirls my chair around so I'm facing the mirror. I run my fingers through the still wet ringlets on my shoulders, vexed. It's just like it was before, I tell her with a forced smile. My hair looks like top Roman noodles, but I don't say anything. Why bother? Nobody listens to me anyway. Chapter 2. The moment the restaurant door opens, I'm met with the familiar hum of activity and aroma of just grilled meat. I wave my hand to clear the haze that lingers in the air, but it's no use. Barbecue smoke is no joke. Our restaurant is the only one in town that still uses charcoal grills. Even though everyone else has switched to the clean glass or electric ones, Dad refuses to change. He's convinced the real charcoal import imparts the most traditional taste, which is why my clothes, no matter how many times I wash them, smell like a campfire. It's also earned me the nickname You Meat. You Meat. Ugh. Yep, because every sixth grader at Winston Academy dreams of being known as the girl who smells like barbecue. I'll never forgive Tommy Molina for starting that. Go help your dad in the kitchen, Mom says, tying on her apron the straps bedazzled with rhinestones. We have a short staff today for lunch. Okay, let me check my email first. That was Jasper's new vlog is supposed to be up. That and Jasmine Jasper's new vlog is supposed to be up today. She shoots me a knowing glance. Don't spend too much time on computer. 5 minutes, I promise. Our restaurant office doubles as our living room away from home. It's got a couch, coffee table, computer, even a foot massager. We probably spend more time here than in our own living room at home. I'm surprised to find my big sister behind the computer. Hey, Yums, she says to me. Yuri! I wrap my arms around her in a bone-crushing hug. I haven't seen her as much since she moved across town for medical school last fall. But before then, I could count on catching her at the restaurant or at home taking care of me. She's always like my third cool parent. The house and the restaurant have felt so empty without her. What are you doing here? Dad needed some technical assistance with the computer. He wanted me to add some online reservation option to the website. Why? It's not like it's hard to get a table here. She shrugs. You know Dad, how he gets his big ideas. I glance at the wall of the indecipherable code on the monitor. Wow, that's pretty intense. You're telling me all this needs to be updated. I was supposed to leave an hour ago. She glances at my hair. Cute perm, by the way. I scrunch my nose, remembering my head. Don't lie. I look like a wet poodle. I run my fingers through my spiraled strands, but only to make it frizz up some more. Just watch. Tommy Molina is going to have a field day coming up with some nasty names for me when he starts between Yumi, wet poodle, and top ramen. He's going to have enough material for a Netflix special. Don't let that punk get under your skin, as she touses my hair. Besides, it'll loosen up before then. It better. I sit on the edge of the desk. It'd be better if I didn't have to go back to Winston ever again. Aw, Yumi, my sister squeezes my wrist. Maybe this year will be different. Maybe you'll make some new friends. Mm-hmm. Not likely. Long before I transferred in, everyone at my fancy private school had already settled into their impenetrable cliques of friends they've known since kindergarten. Not that I'm included, even if I were around back. Not that I'd be included, even if I were around back then. Hearing them talk about the stuff they do together on the weekends at the country club makes me feel like we're from different planets. Like the time Alexis and Avery were gushing about square. a horse competition, and I jumped in with Quest. I love that board game. I didn't win many popularity points with that one. I've concluded that I'm better off keeping my mouth shut instead and just trying to fit in where I don't try to fit where I don't belong. It's just easier. Yuri smooths my hair. You never know. New year, new possibilities, new bullies. She laughs. Just be yourself and everything will come together on its own. If it could only be that simple. Right then, Dad pops his head into the room. How's website? Is it working? Almost done. Yuri clicks through the screens. I just have to add one more plugin. Good, Dad says, watching my sister code. This is what we need to bring new customers. Doubtful. It's going to take a whole lot more than a dinky online reservation button for that to happen, and I don't want to burst his bubble. Dad turns to me. Yumi, I need your help. Bring the banchan to table 3. We are getting the slam. The slam. That's my dad's rendition of the phrase, we're getting slammed. Sure, I guess Jasmine's vlog will have to wait till later. Can you help after you finish the website? He asked Yuri. Until end of service? Yes, Yuri says without looking up, her fingers flying across the keyboard. When I walk into the kitchen, Manuel, our restaurant's main cook, greets me with a big smile. Someone's got her hair done. You look great, Chipato. Really? I feel like I'm 5 years old. I groan, pulling on my apron. How am I supposed to go to middle school with this? I fluff the sides of the frizzy cloud that is now my hair. If anyone gives you any trouble about your hair, he flexes his muscles, show them your guns. Let them know that they can't mess with you. Yeah, right. I snort as I wash my hands in the sink. For the 10 years Manuel's been working here, he's always said stuff like that. It's really silly, but if I'm being honest, it's nice to have someone who encourages me to stand up for yourself. In my case, it's the Saldorian head cook from my parents' restaurant. I open the lid of one of the pots on the stove and take a big whiff. Oh, smells great. You know, it's just a little sandubu, kimchi, jagi, solatang, and 2 orders of my famous dongjang jingai, he says, with a better Korean accent than mine. It looks delicious. Manuel can cook anything. His pupasas are just as legendary as the Korean dishes Mom taught him. You know it. He tosses soft tofu into the bubbly red stew and gives it a sprinkling of fresh green onion for garnish before sending it out to pass. How did your granddaughter's birthday party go the other day? I asked him. Good. Sophia wanted something low key, so we ended up having some people over for pollo campero and cake, a Little Mermaid one. It was chill. Something pops into my head. Oh, that reminds me of a joke. Let's hear it. How are parents like broken refrigerators? I give up. How? They're loud, inconsistent, and have no chill. I say, barely containing my giggles. Manuel lets out the best kind of whole body laugh. No chill. He throws back his head and holds his belly with both hands. Burn. Thanks. He's one of the few people I feel comfortable telling jokes to because he's always honest with his feedback. Don't be too hard on your mom and pops, though. They're coming from a good place. He's still laughing as he piles the tiny side dishes of cubed radish, sesame bean sprouts, black beans, and marinated spinach onto a giant platter. Listen, you better get this banchan out there before the customers start complaining. Right. I haul out the platter on my shoulder and balance it as best as I can. I got this. I flap my biceps, which is about as thick as a chopstick. Atta girl, he chuckles, flexing his arm right back at me. Keep working on those jokes, Yumi, he shouts before going back to the 5 pots of boiling soup. I'm headed out to the dining area when Yuri pops out from behind the faded embroidered folding screen carrying 2 water pitchers. Mom is already at table 3 greeting the bi-spectacled middle-aged man sitting with his family. How are you, Mr. Lee? She collects the chunky leather-bound menus from the table. Mrs. Lee, did you change your hair? This color looks so stylish on you. Samuel, I hear that you got your first chair in your orchestra. Congratulations. After being in business at the same location for 15 years, Mom knows all the regulars by name. Somehow she also remembers their favorite entrees, preferred spice levels, tipping patterns, and if they happen to have any eligible bachelors in the family. These days, the Lee family had a small handful of other loyal diners, and they are the only people I ever see in our restaurant. You remember our daughters? Mother rests her hands on Yuri's shoulder. Girls, inside to our guests. Hello, we greet them with their heads bowed. Mr. Lee sets his spoon down. They are more beautiful each time we see them. Beauty is not everything. Mom clucks her tongue and whispers loud to Mrs. Lee, I'm afraid Yuri will never get married. She tosses her head with disdain. She still has no boyfriend. Yuri's porcelain skin flushes bright pink. You'd think had grown to the immune. No, You'd think we'd have grown immune to this stuff by now, but nope, it's still mortifying each time. Mrs. Lee chuckles. Mrs. Chung, your daughter's still a student. Why are you worried already? A faux concerned expression cloaks Mom's face. She cannot meet any nice boys because she always studying. Mom sighs dramatically. So difficult to be youngest student at UCLA Medical School. Mrs. Lee's spoon clicks, hitting the side of the bowl. Medical student already? I thought she was in high school, she says, like Yuri isn't standing right there. Mr. Lee grunts. Looks like teenager. Dad dashes over, nearly knocking over the traditional wooden mask from the wall. He must have sensed there was a brag session going on. Mr. Lee, Yuri is not a teenager anymore. He pauses. She is 20 years old, skipped 2 grades, and graduated from university early, he adds, injecting himself into the conversation. I swear, my sister is like his own living, breathing trophy. Mr. Lee indulges Dad. Wow, so smart. She finished her studies 2 years early. Dad swats at the air, finding modesty, like they're talking about him. Did you hear that, son? Mr. Lee elbows his teenage son. Yuri's face is now redder than the raw meat on his grill. The boy looks up through his long bangs. Yeah, what? Wait for it. If you study hard like her, you can be a success too, Mr. Lee says. Ha! If I had $1 for every time my parents told me that, I'd be able to buy a family a second restaurant. Then Mom gestures to me. And you remember our second daughter, Yumi? Ugh, they're all looking at me. I grab the pitcher and top off the already full watered cups on the table, trying to ignore Mrs. Lee's eyes roaming me up and down, evaluating every molecule. She squints, probably struggling to come up with a compliment. Your daughter is so tall. Sad. That's the best thing she came up with. I'm not even that tall. I grab the metal tongs and flip the meat on the grill, avoiding all eye contact, hoping they'll change the subject. You know, our Yumi is so quiet and shy. We don't know what to do with her. She did not even tell us when she won the academic scholarship to Winston Academy in Beverly Hills, Mom says unblinkingly. I nearly gave myself whiplash. Mom, what the heck? She smiles at them with her fake no-teeth grin, willingly ignoring my silent outrage. Yuri snickers behind me. My mother has been known to stretch the truth to make us look good, like the time she complained to everyone at the restaurant about how difficult it was to find a costume after I was handpicked to sing the solo in my first grade Christmas pageant. You are blessed. 2 obedient, smart daughters. My son here, he is so lazy. He never studies. All he ever wants to do is play his violin. Mr. Lee knocks his knuckles on his son's scalp. Last week, he told me he needs money to fly to New York to perform with his orchestra. Carnegie Hall or something. I tell him, what about your studies? And so it begins. For the next good while, they go back and forth, one-upping each other with their humble brags. Someone get me a barf bag. If only my parents were proud of me for things that I could actually do. Chapter 3. Later that night, I'm practicing new stand-up in front of my laptop. In today's vlog, Jasmine Jasper swore that watching and critiquing video footage of yourself is the best way to improve stage performance. So that's what I'm doing. Normally, I'd eat by this by the spoonful and watch myself tape. But hey, that's what the pro says, so that's what the pro says. I'll just do about anything that'll help me become even a fraction as funny as she is. I became a Jasmine Jasper fan when Yuri showed me her videos to cheer me up when I didn't get invited to my so-called friend's birthday party. I'll never forget Jasmine stand up about how she got her period during a sleepover, but couldn't muster the courage to ask her friend's mom for a maxi pad because #shygirl problems. She resorted to making herself makeshift pads out of folded toilet paper, but when they were playing Twister, it fell out of her shorts and the dog got a hold of it and went to town. For the rest of the night, Bella the Beagle wouldn't stop sniffing her crotch for more. Jasmine Jasper had me howling with her facial expressions, voice impersonations, plus dog sniffing sounds. It was the best distraction to help me forget how bummed I was about I had been left out of the party. Also, it was also nice to know that I'm not the only one who gets awkward certain in social situations. In some ways, I feel like Jasmine Jasper gets me, maybe more than anyone else in my life. And she's so freaking funny, too. I wonder how many times she had to practice that maxi pad bit in front of the mirror holding a hairbrush for a microphone before it was perfected. On her vlog, she always talked about the importance of challenging yourself to do things that make you uncomfortable. And how can we ever improve unless we put ourselves out there and practice, practice, practice? If it worked for her, maybe it would work for me too. Here goes nothing. I uncap my pen and then tap the play button, unfreezing my likeness on the screen, and instantly it's beyond brutal. Cringe, cringe, cringe. Ugh. Do I really sound like that? Do I really stand like that? I forced myself to get through the entire 4 minutes and 12 seconds of the clip, jotting down the million things I need to work on. Talk way louder, slower, stand up straight, posture too slouchy, walk around more, you're not a plant, stop saying you don't need to grip your hairbrush with both hands, no nervous giggling, pause between jokes, don't rush the delivery, you need more hand gestures. I flipped back my notebook to fix my dumpster fire of a bit. I reread it, and honestly, it's not the material. There's actually a lot of good stuff there. The real problem is my delivery. I'm totally uncomfortable, and it shows. My nervous tics are choking the humor out of my jokes. But how am I supposed to stop acting nervous when I am nervous? Hopeless, I fell into my bed face first. What I really need is a personality transplant from a really spontaneous, naturally outgoing, fun-loving donor. I picture waking up from surgery having charisma and confidence stitched alongside my organs and being miraculously healed from my stifling self-consciousness. I'll leave the hospital a totally different person. I'll participate in class and have a ton of friends, and my jokes would land. I'd turn into the person I've always wanted to be. I'd be the new me. I imagine the way the new me would perform my act. The pen in my hand can't keep up with my ideas. She begins to write her ideas down. Sorry, that was a little fast. I'm convinced my hair is mad at me. This is her ideas. I'm convinced my hair is mad at me. For years, emphasize this, my mom has insisted that I condition it, spray it, pomade it, and perm it to give it the volume. That's a lot of product, and it's given me a severe case of dandruff. Look at this. It's like the swift outflips here. You know what I think? I think it's my hair follicles. Whispering this loudly into the mic. Get revenge on me. I tried to tell my mom, see, it's because all this stuff you make me use. She looked at me sternly and said, it's not my fault you did not use enough. Whatever. Sometimes you just have to brush it off. Be careful how you treat your hair, your friends. And next time you're in the bathroom, watch your back. No, I mean, literally check it out with some mirrors or something because, you might have missed some flakes back there. This will get me to loosen up, but I can really pull it off. Jasmine Jasper says that sometimes you have to fake it till you make it. It's worth a try. I adjust the laptop screen, stand up straight, and clear my throat. All right, here it goes. Take 2, I say into the camera. I grip my hairbrush / microphone and project nice and loud. I'm convinced my hair is mad at me. I glance at my notebook for the next line, but then a freaky face appears behind me on the laptop screen. Ah! I whip around to meet my fate. Thankfully, it's just Mom looking like a killer from the bad slasher movie in her Korean sheet mask. I bring you a study snack, she says, carrying a plate of sliced Asian pears. Our family's Shih Tzu, Nabi, follows behind her. Mom, you scared the shinkimchi out of me, I say, holding my chest. Sorry. Mom points to the white cotton film slathered on her face with a floral scented goo. I got the new facial mask. Secret ingredient, snail excretion. Helps with shrinking the pores. Snail secretions? How do they even extract that? Images of snails on treadmills made a sponge fill my mind. You should try it too. Maybe this help your skin. Nabi jumps into her lap and licks Mom's snail slimy skin. I turn away. No, I'm good. I'll keep my pimples, thanks. She hands me a tiny fork from the plate. Eat. I cut fruit for you. Fruit is good for concentration, she says, trying not to move her mouth muscles. By compulsion, Mom automatically starts tidying the stray papers and books on my desk. How many times I have to tell you? You need to keep your room organized, she nags. Why do you bother so much? I know exactly where everything is. Having a nice looking desk will bring peace and energy. You just have nice looking skin and hair. You have to take care of outside, you take care of inside. She sweeps my bangs out of my face. If you say so, Mom. She glances at my computer screen. Are you still working on quadratic formula? I close my laptop and clutch it to my chest. No, I was just working on some other stuff. What kind of stuff? Nothing. Just some jokes. I set it on my desk. Mom's creepy mask pinches in the middle with dissatisfaction. Jokes? What for? She tugs at the edges of the sheet to readjust it. For fun? Can't a girl videotape herself practicing her stand-up act to a pretend audience for no particular reason without getting the third degree? Waste of time. Have you heard from Yuri? Nabi's curl tag wags at the sound of my sister's name. Not since I saw her at the restaurant earlier. I sprawl on the other end of the bed, staring at my closet door, where my K-pop posters hang next to my old Pokemon ones. Why? Did she mention spending time with any new friends? Mom looks at me like I should understand what she's getting at. She's not answering my phone calls. Very unusual for her. She nibbles on a sliver of pear through the mask. I shrug. She's probably hanging out with people from class. I knew it. Knew what? Her smug smile pulls the sides of the sheet mask, making her look like lackluster Mexican luchador. She has a boyfriend. I bolt upright, staring at Nabi. Why would you think that? Wow, Mom is jumping to conclusions, but this is a stretch, even for her. Makes sense. She is so busy, distracted, hurried to go back to her apartment, missing calls. She must be seeing someone special. My eyes roll. Geez, Mom, or she's just enjoying her freedom and living the best of her life. Mom disagrees with me. I wonder if he is Korean. Maybe a medical student like your sister. She chews on her fruit thoughtfully. I need to find out if aunties have heard anything. Tell me any new information if she tells you, okay? Sure. There's no use trying to convince a woman who won't be convinced, so I just roll with it. I figure the sooner I agree, the sooner she'll go back to the room and the sooner I can get back to practicing. Mom heads to the door with Nabi on her heels. Okay, don't stay up too late. Tomorrow you start Hagwon. I almost forgot. Ugh. I flop back on my bed, burying my head under my pillow. I'd rather be a snail chained to a sponge treadmill than go to Hagwon. All right, we're going to stop there. I know it was a little long, but I hope you have enjoyed the story so far.